They say the person you marry isn't the person you divorce. I used to think that was just a bitter cliche meant for people who didn't know how to communicate. But I was wrong. Dead wrong. My name is Mark. I'm 34. And for 5 years, I was married to a woman I'll call Sarah. If you looked at our Instagram, we were the American dream personified. We just bought a 4-bedroom colonial house in the suburbs. We had the golden retriever. We were talking about starting a family. Sarah was an HR manager, beautiful, sharp, and seemingly the most fiercely loyal person I'd ever met. I was an architect. I spent my days designing foundations, making sure structures could withstand storms. Ironically, I was completely blind to the rot eating away at the foundation of my own life.
It didn't happen overnight. It never does. The changes in Sarah were microscopic at first. About 6 months ago, she got a promotion. With it came new hours, mandatory networking drinks, and a new circle of friends she rarely invited me to meet. But the biggest shift was her phone. Before, her phone would be tossed on the kitchen counter, unlocked, completely ignored. Suddenly, it became an extension of her body. If she went to the bathroom, the phone went with her. If it was on the table, it was strictly face down. When I asked her about it, purely out of curiosity, she completely flipped the script. She accused me of being insecure, of being toxic and smothering her. She started talking a lot about her boundaries. When your spouse suddenly starts using HR buzzwords to avoid basic questions, your gut knows. I didn't want to be the paranoid husband, but I also wasn't an idiot.
I didn't hire a private investigator. I didn't need to. Sarah's arrogance was her downfall. One Saturday, she went out for a spa day with her girlfriends. I was cleaning out her home office, organizing some old electronics to donate. In the bottom drawer of my desk, I found my old iPad from college. I plugged it in just to wipe the memory. When it booted up, a flood of notifications came pouring in. I guess when Sarah set up her new iPhone a few months prior, she didn't realize her Apple ID was still logged into this forgotten iPad, and they were syncing over the same Wi-Fi. I opened the iMessage app. My heart dropped into my stomach. There was a thread with a contact simply named G. I scrolled up. It wasn't just flirting. It was a full-blown secondary life. "Last night was incredible," she wrote. "I can still smell your perfume on my sheets," he replied. "I can't wait to leave, Mark. Just give me time to figure out the house." I sat on the floor of our beautiful, newly painted office, staring at the screen for 2 hours. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. Something inside me just snapped. The loving husband died on that floor. What stood up was an architect, and it was time to design a demolition.
Most guys confront their wives immediately. They scream, they throw clothes on the lawn, they let emotion run the show. Not me. She wrote that she needed time to figure out the house. Well, I was going to figure it out for her. I took hundreds of screenshots from the iPad. I exported them to a secure cloud drive she didn't know existed. Then, I put the iPad exactly back where I found it. When she came home from her spa day, smelling faintly of men's cologne, I smiled, kissed her forehead, and asked if she felt relaxed. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Yes, baby, it was exactly what I needed." The ability to lie that smoothly sent chills down my spine. The next Monday, I took a half day at work and hired the most ruthless divorce attorney I could find. Since we lived in an at-fault state, the evidence of her infidelity wasn't just emotional validation, it was a massive legal advantage. I spent the next 3 months living a lie. I slept in the same bed as a stranger, I smiled at her family, and quietly behind the scenes, I was systematically untangling my finances from hers. I moved my direct deposits, I locked down my credit. I learned G was Greg, a VP at her company. He was also married. That was the cherry on top.
By late October, the trap was set. My lawyer had drafted everything. Because I paid the entire down payment on our house with inheritance money prior to the marriage, my lawyer found a legal loophole to ensure I kept the property. Sarah was about to walk away with nothing but her clothes and half of a depleted joint savings account. But I didn't want to just serve her papers on a random Tuesday. She had spent months humiliating me behind my back, planning to take my home. I wanted her to feel a fraction of the betrayal I felt. Thanksgiving was coming up. We were hosting her parents, her sister, and her conservative, very judgmental grandparents. Sarah's family was obsessed with appearances. To them, we were the golden couple. It was the perfect stage. Thanksgiving dinner was beautiful. The turkey was carved, the wine was poured. Her family was laughing, complimenting Sarah on the gorgeous home. Sarah stood up and raised her glass. "I just want to say how thankful I am," she smiled, looking right at me, "for my wonderful husband, our beautiful new home, and the family we are building together." Her parents awed. I stood up, grabbing my own glass. "I'd like to add to that," I said. The room went quiet. I reached under the table and pulled out a thick, legal manila envelope. I also pulled out 4 smaller envelopes. "I am incredibly thankful for the truth," I said, my voice completely steady. I handed the large envelope to Sarah. She looked confused. "And I'm thankful for technology." I handed the smaller envelopes to her mother, her father, her sister, and her grandmother. "Sarah, those are divorce papers. The house is legally mine. I'll be needing you out by Monday." I turned to her family, who were staring at me in frozen horror. "Go ahead, open them." Her father opened his envelope. Inside were printed high-resolution screenshots of Sarah's texts with Greg, including the photos they sent each other. The color drained from Sarah's face. She looked like a ghost. "Mark, what are you doing?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "Oh, and Sarah?" I leaned in, right next to her ear, so only she could hear, but the room was so silent it echoed. "Greg says hi." Though I imagine his wife won't be saying hi to him anymore, since I mailed her the same package this morning. I didn't stay for the screaming. I grabbed my coat, whistled for my golden retriever, and walked out the front door. I spent the weekend at a nice hotel, eating room service steak and watching football. My phone blew up for 48 hours. Sarah begging, crying, threatening, her parents apologizing to me, horrified. Greg lost his job because his wife's family were major shareholders in his company. Sarah had to move into a tiny, depressing one-bedroom apartment. Because I had airtight proof of the affair and had planned the finances months in advance, she got absolutely demolished in the divorce settlement. It's been 2 years now. The house is fully mine. I met a wonderful woman who doesn't flip her phone face down. Looking back, discovering that old iPad was the worst day of my life. But the day I handed out those envelopes, that was the day I took my life back. Sometimes the only way to deal with someone who burns your bridge is to sit back, watch the fire, and build a better one. Thanks for listening.